It's always been interesting to me how we as humans move through nature and the environment. I've always loved hiking and backpacking and being outside. And so it came as no surprise to me that nature and the environment would be a social justice project I would be preoccupied with. How do we move through the environment? How do we use nature as humans? We carve roads into it. We fish and get sustenance from it. We build dams. We canoe. We swim in the water it provides. We have joy. We have happiness. We experience bliss while being out in the woods. As humans, I feel we are drawn to being in this environment with nature, and I think we ache for it when we are separate from it. But the question is, what is the story that we have been told of the environment? Is it for our pleasure, our use? Do we just take? Or do we give back? What does respectful balance look like? How do we use it and engage in conversation that benefits the both of us? This was so essential to me when I walked the Camino de Santiago, and my life became very simple because it was distilled down to what does my life look like every day? France experienced the worst weather in 90 years when I walked the Camino, and this is what I walked in every day. It was physically exhausting and mentally demanding. Sometimes it rained all day long. So very quickly, I learned that my conversation with nature had to be personal, had to be relevant to what my day looked like, and so I scanned the clouds. I scanned what the day would look like from the minute I woke up. I listened to the wind. I saw how the topography of the land would affect my body. Was it muddy? Was it going to be sunny? How long would I be able to sit in this field and enjoy the warmth of the ground, feel the sun on my face, walk through these trees that are sheltering me from the rain, and be bemused by how medieval castles and wind turbines exist side by side? My days were gloomy and dispiriting. And so I learned to channel my energy into putting one foot in front of the other while engaging in conversation with nature, realizing that nature just existed and was there and affected my day. And if I wanted to be successful in what I was doing, I had to have peace with it and how it chose to communicate with me. I think there are stories in the sand. I think there are stories in the shapes that water carves into the land. I think there are stories in the trails that I follow when I walk. The rocks that surround me, how the wind and the water has carved into the stone. Nature has its own story, the original story. It is the one it is trying to tell us. And so I try to engage in conversation with it. And this is what I've been doing for, I think, my whole life. How do I listen to nature? How do I interpret what it's trying to tell me? How do I respectfully dialogue with something that I feel can talk back to me, but that others can't hear? And so I think the challenge of my story will be taking my ideas about the environment, my ideas about this world out there, and sharing them with others who might not see or experience the world as I do. I believe everything in nature wants to have a conversation with us and wants us to see and hear the story nature is trying to tell us.